All right, let's dive right into one of the biggest questions there is. How does that 3-pound lump of tissue we call a brain create the entire rich, non-physical world of your mind? We're going to explore a really cool theory that tackles this head-on.
I mean, really think about it for a second. The smell of coffee, right? Or the feeling of joy, or even just remembering a childhood friend's face. These things aren't physical objects you can hold. They're experiences. And yet, they all come from the purely physical stuff happening between our ears. You know, traditional science often treats the brain and the mind as two totally separate things. But what if they're not? What if there's no gap to bridge at all?
Okay, so here's this radical new idea. It's a framework called the Continuum conversion theory. And it basically says, hey, what if the mind and brain aren't two different things? What if they're just different stages of one single, unbroken process?
So the core idea here is really elegant. It suggests that your mental world, everything you think and feel, is the direct result of a seamless transformation of energy. It's this continuous flow, like a river, moving from the physical world of your senses through a middle stage of energetic waves and finally becoming the mental world of your thoughts.
This whole journey happens across 3 different states, or as the theory calls them, continua. We start with the material, that's the physical stuff. Then it transforms into the wave, which is pure energy. And finally, it culminates in the mental, your actual consciousness. So let's break down each step of this incredible dance.
So where does this amazing journey from matter to mind actually kick off? Well, it doesn't start with some abstract idea. It starts with raw, physical force.
Get this. Every single photon of light that hits your retina, every sound wave that vibrates your eardrum, it's a physical event. And according to this theory, these aren't just abstract signals. No, they are actual physical forces that put microscopic patterns of stress and strain on your brain tissue. They are literally, physically, deforming your brain on a super tiny scale.
Now, what's so cool about this is the property of brain tissue itself. It's not just a solid, and it's not just a liquid. It's what's called viscoelastic. And this right here is the secret sauce. It's what allows the brain to not just react to that strain, but to actually store and release the energy from it over time.
And this is a fantastic way to picture it. Think about a rubber ball. That's elastic. You squeeze it, it bounces right back. No memory of what just happened. But now think about memory foam. You press your hand into it, and for a moment, it remembers the shape. It holds that imprint before it slowly returns. Well, guess what? Your brain tissue is a lot more like that memory foam. It's holding a tiny physical echo of everything you sense.
Okay, so your brain tissue is literally holding on to this physical strain. But how does a physical imprint become something more? Well, that's the next stage of this incredible conversion.
So how does a physical push or pull on your brain cells get turned into other kinds of energy? The theory says there are 5 key translators inside the brain that make this happen, that bridge this gap.
And here they are. Now, you don't need to be a physicist to get the gist of this. Just think of them as different mechanisms, from electrical zaps to the resonance of fluids, that all work together. Their one big job is to take that stored physical energy and transform it into something completely new.
And the result of that transformation is amazing. The physical strain literally blossoms into synchronized oscillations, what the theory calls energetic phase waves. The physical dent becomes a rhythmic, energetic pulse that ripples through whole networks of neurons. Just like that, matter has become rhythm.
Okay, so we've gone from physical strain to energetic waves. Now for the final act, the most mind-blowing step of all, turning those waves into our actual subjective conscious experience. And here is the absolute key. When those energy waves organize themselves into a stable, complex pattern, that pattern is the thought. Think of it like ripples on a pond settling into a distinct, recognizable shape. That specific, stable energy pattern in your brain isn't just causing you to see a face. At a really fundamental level, it is the mental image of the face.
This table just beautifully sums up the entire idea. In the physical, material world, you've got mass and motion. In the wave world, that translates to inertia and momentum. And then you get to the mental world, and the parallel is just perfect. An image or a concept is the stable mass, and imagination or thought is the dynamic motion. It's the same dance, just being expressed in 3 totally different languages. But hold on, this isn't just a one-way street from the outside world into your head. It's a constant, never-ending dance with feedback looping in both directions. That's right. Your thoughts, your intentions, your focus, they aren't just passive results of this process. They're active players in the game. They create a top-down flow that actually changes the energy waves, which in turn imposes new patterns of strain right back onto the physical brain tissue. It's how we reinforce connections and literally shape how we see the world next time.
So this feedback loop is running all the time. But all of that physical strain, day in and day out, has to go somewhere, right? And this brings us to something we all do. And this theory might just explain it perfectly. Sleep. Why on earth do we need to completely shut down our brains every single night?
The answer might have something to do with this number, 60%. What could possibly change by 60% inside your brain every night without fail?
Well, it turns out your brain cells can actually shrink dramatically by up to 60%. This creates more space between them, and that allows a special fluid to wash through and clear out all the metabolic junk that's built up. And in the context of our theory, this is the brain's physical reset button. It's the process that lets all that viscoelastic tissue finally relax and release the day's accumulated physical strain.
So in the end, what this model gives us is this beautifully elegant picture. I love this quote from the source material. The physical and the mental reveal themselves as different expressions of one ongoing strain wave symphony.
It's just a powerful, almost poetic way to see ourselves, isn't it? Not as a ghost in a machine, but as this unified, resonant symphony. And that leaves us with one final, pretty profound question to think about. If our consciousness is the music, then who or what is the conductor?